Okay, guys, welcome to episode 6 on the Just Simply Talks podcast. My name is Rowell.
And I'm Tyler, and we are wearing the same clothes.
Again. Because we're busy, so we're trying to just pre-record most of these episodes, right?
That's exactly what's happening.
We can't find a time.
Yeah, so we record like 3-4 episodes in one go just to,
Yeah, so if you're watching, you'll have noticed. But if you're just listening in, well, I don't think you really care.
Yeah, I never should have said anything in case you were just listening.
Yeah, in case you were just listening. Yeah, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. Anyways, what's today's topic on, Tyler? Well, what's this episode's topic on?
Today, we're going to talk a little bit about fear.
Fear,
that's a big one.
That is a big one.
Because that is something that affects everyone at some point. And it affects the way we do things. It affects whether or not we do things.
Mm-hmm.
And so fear is a really big one.
Fear is a big one. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is there anything you're like, are you scared of anything? What are you fearful of?
Okay. Anyone who knows me will say I'm scared of roller coasters.
Okay.
I'm not. Okay. Let's just be clear. I'm not scared of them. I just dislike the feeling. Okay. It's I think for me it stems down to a loss of control. Right? Because like I race. And it's scary, right? I don't mind heights. I would skydive.
Yeah.
Right? But something about being strapped in a roller coaster and just having no control over whether it flies off or not, that's a different thing. And I just dislike that. I feel like it's really the loss of control. I'm not in control of it, and that's why I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Right, okay, but going back to like what we're scared of. Other than that, I don't really have many fears other than the normal typical fears that a lot of us do have, such as a fear of failing.
Fear of failing.
That is a big one. That I think most people have, and most people have to kind of get over. And for me, that was one of the first things that I had to kind of like force myself to get used to, was that feeling of failure and that feeling of, that fear. That feeling of, I said feeling of failure.
Yeah, the feeling, the fear of failure.
Yeah.
That feeling, that like uncomfortable.
Exactly.
How would you describe fear then? How do you feel when you have fear? Would you say fear is what? Feeling uncomfortable? Would you say?
I would say a feeling of uncomfortability.
Yeah.
Right? Because most of the time, obviously, when you're comfortable with something, you're not typically afraid of it.
Yeah, not typically afraid.
Right? Fear is a lot of the time when you're spending too much time thinking of the future. Mm-hmm. When you're spending not enough time in the present, you tend to be scared. Right? When you start thinking about too much in the past over something that happened, you're scared it'll happen again. You're thinking too much in the future. You're scared of what will happen, what might happen. That's when fear hits.
Yeah.
Right. I think that for me, and the reason why I say that is a good way that I've kind of centered myself and tried to not eliminate the fear, but really just accept it and move forward with it is staying in the present. Right. Realizing that, this is what's happening now. This is the reality. This may or may not happen. I am aware that I'm scared. I'm aware that I feel this fear. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep going because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think honestly, that's key.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A lot of people ask, a lot of people ask me, are you scared? Yeah, I'm scared, but I go forward anyways. Right. I'm scared of failure, but I go forward anyways.
Yeah.
Right. But I think there's something I learned over the weekend. So they said there's no such thing as somebody who's not fearful, right? But you got to use fear against itself.
That's interesting.
So you know how it works. So right, like you said before, fear stops you from doing a lot of things. So now reverse engineer that in a way it can work for you. So instead of being fearful of like what might happen if you do this, instead for me, I use fear against itself. I'm fearful of what might not happen if I don't do this, right? That's what I've been doing with fear. I use it against itself. I'm scared of inaction. I'm scared of the what ifs. That's why I always take action. I always move forward. I never let an opportunity not be claimed, right? Because I'm more scared of not doing something than I am doing it. And so that's why, yes, I am fearful, but I'm fearful for the right reasons that move me forward, right?
That's a good way to frame it.
Yeah,
that's something
I learned, right?
That's a good way to frame it.
Something I learned over the weekend. I'm like, bro, that's gold. That's actually golden. And so I've actually been doing this for a long time now, but I've never really, no one's ever really put into words for me. But when I heard that in the weekend, when I listened to a seminar, I was like, man, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing, put into words. And for the longest time, I've been doing that, right? I'm scared of the what ifs. I'm scared of the regret I'll have if I don't try this, right? And that's what pushes me forward, right? Do I succeed every time I push forward? Hell no, hell no. But at least I don't come out with regret. Yeah, right. I'm scared of that.
That's true, and that's something I think of too. It's not, so much about I'm scared this will happen. It's about, I'm scared that I'm gonna regret not doing it. Yeah. Right. I'm scared that I'm missing out on something, and that kind of pushes me to do things.
Yeah. Right? But scared of missing out on something. I mean, again, you can use that in two different ways.
Definitely. Right?
Because a lot of people, especially I'll tell you right now, because of summer, everyone has FOMO.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like,
everyone's going out, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, but then again, people are starting to forget. Yeah, like it's there's a loss of focus. Exactly. Right? There's a loss of focus, right? But yeah, that's again FOMO, fear of missing out, right? I've had it. I had to get past that actually. I was like, man, I wanna do all this. Actually, it's crazy. I haven't played because basketball. My sport's basketball, right? Yeah. I haven't played basketball in so long. I literally said yes to 3 leagues, and I keep on getting asked, right? And I had to say no. I'm like, okay, I need to stop because like I can't just say yes to everybody, right? But it's because like I had that like I missed basketball that much. Yeah, that's why I'm playing a TCBL. And like other leagues as well.
And you don't want to miss out on it.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out on it. But at the same time, I had to say no to some stuff because I realized I still gotta stay focused.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that can work 2 ways, right? FOMO can be helpful if you surround yourself with the right people, put yourself in the right environment. Because I know, there are a lot of times where when it comes down to just you, maybe, there's kind of inaction. But when you look at the people around you, then you start to be like, whoa, like they're growing. What's happening with me?
Exactly. Right? That's a good thing.
And you start to get scared of like, whoa, I don't want to get left behind. Right? Like I still need to be a part of it. I need to grow with them. Yeah. Right. And so I think that can be used very well when it goes hand in hand with surrounding yourself with the right people.
No, definitely. Right. And again, surrounding yourself with the right people, it's subjective.
Of course.
It's very subjective, right? People, but I think it's like you should look at it in a way like, does it serve me and push me to the next level? I mean, that's how I look at surrounding. I want to surround myself with people that will push me to the next level, right? That challenge me, that put me out of my comfort zone, someone I can compete against. That's the type of people I like to surround myself with. Yeah. The other people, they don't want that. Some people just want to just enjoy life, like live in the moment, and whatever happens, right? And there's nothing wrong with that as well. But that's just not me, and I don't think that's you too.
I wouldn't say it's me, but I do surround myself. Well, I like to think that I surround myself with a variety of people because I really do appreciate a lot of different qualities in people, even if it's not the same as me, like even if they're not, let's say they're not super competitive, they're not, like this, they're not like that. I think that there's always a lot to learn from a lot of people. And I learn so much from the people that I surround myself with. I learn so much from my friends, regardless of, what they're doing or where they're at. That's why I love them, right? Is because they keep me growing, and it doesn't always have to be in financial, exactly, business, or anything like that. It's, I learn a lot, and I enjoy spending time with them and being around them, and they make me a better person. And so that is, kind of why I choose to surround myself with certain people, right? Even if they're not like me in a certain sense, that I think is like really valuable to me. But like you said, it's subjective.
It's subjective, right? It's subjective, right? And so that's why I guess people might look at me in a lot of people will look at like my point of view in terms of like who I like to surround myself with is very they like to criticize it in a way like you need to know when to chill out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't want to chill out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you don't want to chill out, then you wouldn't be surrounding yourself people who are like constantly chilling you out, you know?
Like, people tell me like I need to know when to rest and take a break. I'm like, what if I don't want to? Like people say I'll burn out, but I don't. Right? And it's not that I'm a beast or anything. It's just that's just who I am. Right? Subjective, just what I'm saying. So I mean, some people need to like get off my ass. Right? Because like, man, I want to, you know how I view life. This is how I view life, and it's kind of people will say it's kind of fucked, and some people will agree. I view life like riding a bicycle. Okay.
Like,
look, I like people think that I will burn out, and if I don't, do some stuff. But I look at life like a bicycle. What happens if you stop pedaling? Then you start to lose.
Tip over, yeah.
Start to lose control, right? So as I like to keep moving forward. That keeps me aligned. That's where my peace is. When I'm aligned, when I keep moving forward, because that's when I have the most control. That's how I like to live my life, like that.
See.
Okay. So and some people will agree, some people won't.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's subjective, right? I don't criticize anyone who just wants to just chillax. That's fine.
If you want to do that, you can do that.
By all means, go ahead and do that. That's fine, right? That's fine, right? And I think, there has to be a balance. There is a balance of moving forward and also like relaxing at the same time. That's where I mean, I'm only 24. I'm still trying to figure it out, right?
Definitely still young. So,
we're still young. I'm still trying. I don't have it all figured out. I mean, I'll only know when life has passed, and I'm like, I should have did this.
It's true.
Or could have did that. But at the moment, it's hard to kind of. But that's where it is for me. For me, I like to live life in the analogy of that bicycle.
That's interesting.
Keep moving forward, so I don't feel out of balance.
That's interesting, because I think that, like you said, some people will relate to that and a lot of people won't.
A lot of people won't, yeah.
Right? I think for me, I need my breaks.
Yeah.
I find that, right? And there are times where I will not give it a break. Like I have so many stuff going. And what I find for myself is that if you don't give yourself a break, your body will force a break. My body will force a break on me. Right? I'll just like take a day to just burn out. Right? And just, and but I think that I kind of feel the same way in the sense that I do need to feel like I have to keep progressing. I have to keep improving at something. Something, right? It doesn't have to be always the same thing, but I always have to feel like I'm achieving something, sort of sense, better. Right? It can be, it can be financially, it can be a business, it can be even mentally, it can be at a sport, it can be at anything, right? I just have to feel like I'm improving somewhere as something in order to feel kind of fulfilled or feel like, I'm living a life that's worth it at the moment.
And actually, going back to what you said, to feel happy, you want to keep growing, right? And actually, that's one of the secrets to like what Tony Robbins says. He says that progress equals happiness. Growth equals happiness. If you're growing and you're progressing through life, that's why you stay happy. And I think maybe I explained this before, but this is one of the reasons why the people who have everything, they begin to be unhappy because there's nothing to progress on anymore. There's nothing to look forward to because they already have it all.
That's true.
So in life, they start to get unhappy. So that's one of the reasons why some of the rich, they commit suicide, right? Because like they have it all. Yeah. So that's also a scary place to be in too.
It is a place of when you become stagnant, right?
Yeah.
And this is why I think that hobbies are very important.
Yeah.
Because I think that, it doesn't matter how like dumb or how trivial you think it is. Just the feeling of improving at something, of getting better at something, even if it's something that that doesn't matter. Yeah. That brings you satisfaction. That brings you happiness, right? You feel productive. You feel good about it. And I think that's very important. It's like with any sport or with any hobby, that feeling of achievement, that feeling of improvement is really gratifying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's why like you said, hobbies are important. I mean, like, Like basketball is one of them, right? I know the thing with me, like I feel like I'll always be happy, especially because of basketball. Unless I'm in the NBA and I'm the best player, right? If I'm not there, I know I can get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes me want to improve, and as I improve, I get.
Exactly. Like in anything that I do, I'm not at a point, and I don't think I ever will be at a point where there's nothing left to improve on.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what satisfies me, is that I know that I can get better.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what I do, I know I can do more. I know I can get better. I know I can keep going. And once you reach a peak, which is probably like impossible, right? Unless I become some sort of, Olympic athlete out of hobby or whatever, or just, that's not going to happen. But
find a new hobby.
Exactly. You keep finding things, you keep adding to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know how we got here when we were talking about fear, but still, like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So then let's go back to the topic on fear. Again, people are scared of, we talked already about, like, most people are scared of, like, what's going to happen in the present. I mean, what's going to happen in the future, and what already happened in the past. They're still stuck on that. So what would you say are some tips we can give the people listening to? What are your 3 tips to get over fear?
I would say the first thing is to focus on the present and be very mindful, right? I think that goes a long way. And I did talk about this like earlier.
Yeah.
That goes a long way, is staying in the present and being mindful of the reality in front of you instead of your perception of what did happen or what could happen. When you just focus on what's in front of you and focus on the reality in front of you, there's a lot less to be scared about. And I think that will translate to anything, really. Right? You can probably imagine an Olympic athlete thinking of just here and the now, what they need to do, what they need to execute on, and the result is for later. Right? What happens. And so I think that applying that goes a long way. The second thing I think is important to not shove it down, to not ignore it. Right?
Ignore it.
Because you will have fear. You will be scared. And it's not something to be pushed away or ignored. It's something to accept.
It's like just accept wholly that I'm scared.
You realize that it's there is one thing. And you kind of, like you said, using it to push you forward is a good way of dealing with it. Right? Because the thing is, you can't convince yourself that you're not scared. You're going to be scared.
You're going to be scared.
It's a waste of time to say, I'm not scared. Yeah, then when you get up on that stage and you're right about to speak, you start sweating, right? You are scared. So accept it, internalize it, deal with it, and work past it, right? Move forward.
That's the hard part for people. This is where people stop. Right? Some people will accept it. Some people will accept it, but then they just stop. Right, and
you're never mind. I'm scared. I'm good.
Right? It's one thing to accept it. It's another thing to you gotta push forward. That's the next part of.
Yeah, right? I think so. And that comes with internalizing it, because once you're at peace with the fact that you're scared, right? Now it just becomes almost something that's normal, right? Yes, here's the fear again. Right, you'll talk. I believe it was Kobe who was talking about how he does get scared, how he is fear, and he accepts it, right, and he moves forward with it, and that I think is an important thing, because a lot of the time, even myself, what I've tried to do is just push it down, right? Yeah, I'm not scared. I got this. And then you get up there and I'm sweating and I'm shaking, right? Or whatever it is. That specific example is like one of the first times that I spoke in front of like more than 10 people,
shivering,
sweating, shaking,
you're like,
forgetting what I had to say. And I was scared. Yeah. And you know what I was doing beforehand? I was just in a room saying, I'm not scared. Right? What happens when I got up on that stage? I was scared, right? And so if I had just internalized it, dealt with it and carried that with me and not thought about the future, not thought about the past, I think that would have gone a lot better.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's how I would advise people go about fear.
And those are just some ways.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, with fear, for me, like maybe what I would say too is, not something what I would say, something I learned. Right? Everything I say is everything I've learned. They said that fear and gratitude can't exist in the same continuum. So they said. So one way to get over fear is just be grateful. Because when you're grateful, you can't be fearful, apparently. So I still need to test that out to see if it's true. But this is what I heard.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe next week we can try it. try it within the week, and then maybe next time we talk, let's see if it's actually true. But I think it is, because when you're grateful, you feel abundance, right? Fear is like that feeling of like scarcity. It's that feeling of like it's like the end of the world. Yeah. Right? Like there's nothing left. But when you're and the opposite of scarcity is abundance. And when you're grateful, you're abundant. Right? So that's why they say you can't be fearful and grateful at the same time.
I see.
Right? So again, like I said, I have not tested this, but this is from what a lot of people have been saying. I've heard this not just once, not just twice, but many, many times people have said this.